Okay, welcome. My name's Jonathan, and this is a 45-minute Hatha flow, and I've got the boxing gloves because it's Boxing Day in Canada, and it's also a snow day here in Victoria. So, expecting a lot of people to be on live, and hopefully enjoy a nice solid practice here. I don't think I'll be able to actually do anything with the boxing gloves. I'm trying to pick up the symbols here. That's as good as I can do. So let's begin. Please join your hands together in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And one more time. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And please lower your chin, lower your hands, open your eyes, and start in all fours position. I'll remove the gloves. So not many know this, but I'm a bit of a boxer myself. I started boxing a couple of years ago, and not the boxing sense of actually punching people, but boxing for fitness sake. So a little bit different. Here in all fours, on an inhale, lift your left leg back behind you. Pause to hold. And if you're feeling steady and solid, reach your right arm straight forward. One thing that I took away from boxing, or even just the fitness side of boxing, is the idea of always being engaged and always being prepared. Because even though I'm not necessarily having someone punching back at me, those punching bags themselves are pretty heavy and they can come swinging back as well. Lower your hand, lower your knee, and switch sides. Lift your right leg back and reach your left arm forward. So the physical elements working towards here is just the idea of being prepared, kind of like Boy Scouts or Children's Scouts, always being activated and engaged. Okay, lower your hands, lower your knee, move your knees back, tuck your toes under, and send your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Hatha flow, the title, is a bit of a cop-out. It's not quite Hatha and not quite flow, somewhere in the middle. So an opportunity to hold poses going at a slower pace, but still can be fairly fierce and fiery, holding the positions. Look forward between your hands and slowly step forward to the front of your space for a standing forward fold. Have your feet about hip distance apart. And on an inhale, lift up for a halfway lift position. You could bring the hands to the tops of the shins or not. And then exhale and fold back in. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold. And one last time. Lengthen. And then bow in. Then place your hands to your hips, elbows to the sides, and inhale, slowly rise all the way up to stand. And release your arms alongside you. So even standing, if you just lock the legs, you're not necessarily in a state of readiness or being prepared. So a slight bend of your knees puts you in a more active state, a state that's ready to move. So keep the knees just slightly bent and the hips moving slightly back. On an inhale, float your arms up into the air, join them together, and exhale. Bring your arms back down alongside you. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift up, reach, full stretch. Exhale and lower your arms down. And one more time, full breath, reach up, full stretch. And exhale, fold, lower the arms. This time, reach the arms up. And I was ahead of myself. Fold forward, bow down, touch the ground. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold in. Rise all the way up to stand. Reach the arms up. We'll do that 2 more times. And bring the arms alongside you. Again, arms up. And hinge forward, touch the ground. Lift and lengthen. And then bow. Again, rise up. And arms alongside. One more full breath in, reach up. And exhale to dive. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale and fold in. And then inhale to come all the way up, reach up. And bring your arms back down alongside you. This time, bend your knees and float your arms into the air for chair position. Play around with putting weight back into your heels and then also forward into your toes. And I think a way to practice yoga all the time is just to explore and experiment what is right for you, what feels best in the sense of the theme, to be prepared. What feels better? Is it to be on your toes or to be back on your heels? And those mean different things. Toes, you're a little bit edgy. Heels, you're backed into a corner and running out of energy. One more breath in, and exhale, dive forward, touch your fingers down. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine, and step your left foot back behind you into a lunge position. So just pausing on fingertips. I like to practice with a couple of blocks. Here they are. And that just gives me a little bit extra height. But here in lunge, lift your back thigh up and sink lower into your front leg. To be prepared means to engage the muscles. So one option, of course, is just to stay in the pose. Just being in the pose engages the muscles. Another way to engage the muscles is to engage the muscles. So tone your legs, pull your feet towards each other, maybe even lift the toes on the front foot. Same with the arms. You can push down with your hands and push away from each other, the arms, so the arms get more strong. And then lift your chin, pause to hold. Deep breath in. Okay, and then lower your hands flat to the floor. Step back to plank pose. Just creating a bit of a challenge here to start. Lower the knees. It'll be a 3 count to lower and then lift. So lower halfway with the knees down. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Rise. 3, 2, 1. And lower. 3, 2, 1. All the way down. Point your toes, lift your hands to hover, pull the elbows back, lift your chest up, rise up, big breath in, and then hands flat. You're welcome to use the knees pushing down to come back up. All fours, tuck the toes, and push back to downward facing dog position. On an inhale, lift your right leg back behind you. Exhale, pull your knee in. And again, lift your right leg back. Pull your knee in, pause to hold, and step your foot forward. So it's the same foot as you did. So don't let that confuse you. It's just a different position. So push with the feet, get the legs active and strong. And on an inhale, rise up, place your hands to your hips. Pausing here, move your shoulders back, settle in lower, and then float your arms up into the air for crescent lunge position. You're welcome to add the crescent shape by leaning back and turning it into a little bit of a back bend. Settle low. The idea of being prepared is almost creating a bit of a pulse, so you'd be able to push off of the back foot. On your next exhale, tilt forward, touch your hands down, push off the back foot to step forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold in, and then bend your knees. Float your arms up into the air and pause. Chair pose. Here in chair pose, just having a little bit of an interlude before the second side of the flow. Lean to your right, lift your left leg, hold onto your knee, pause and hold. I used to call this position in my notes boring balance, and that was especially with a straight leg position. It was primarily the most basic one-legged balance you could do. Not boring if you bend your knee. Adding further, hold under your thigh. Drop the leg into your hands so your arms get stronger. And extend your leg straighter. And then final stage of the pose. Should you dare, reach your arms up into the air. Whew. Immediately, without thought, lower your foot and switch to the other side. Lean to your left. Lift your right knee, hold on to your knee, Bend the standing leg. Move your hips back. Hold underneath your thigh to go a little bit further. And it's not just holding the thigh, it's dropping the weight of the leg down and extend your leg straighter. I'm not doing that for show. That's as straight as I get my leg and can still talk. If you can get the leg all the way to straight, just rebend the knee, lift the knee higher, and then stretch your leg straighter. Lower your foot, arms up in the air. So happy it's done. And then dive forward, touch the fingers down. Halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Again, you could keep the fingers to the floor or go hands to the shins. And step your right foot back behind you into a lunge position. I used to call it runner's lunge, but there's a system of yoga in town that has runner's lunge as a totally different pose. I called it high lunge, and also another pose that people call high lunge something else. So it can get a little bit confusing, but either of those is what I used to call it. Now I often don't name it, I just state something. So people have to be ready in case they move to something else. To be ready, one way is just to move the weight forward and back in your stance. And when using two blocks, you could even use the two blocks for the hands. Sometimes I like to do that so I can wrap the fingers around the block and be in a stronger position, especially for the wrists. But stepping back to plank or all fours. So just going to all fours myself so I can still talk, but the more challenging is to have the knees lifted and lowering halfway for 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, rise, 3, 2, 1, and lower, 3, 2, 1, come all the way down. This time reach your arms alongside you, and on an inhale, Shalabhasana, locust pose. Lift the arms, lift the legs, lift the chest, rise to your capacity, big breath in. And then lower down, hands under your shoulders. Either tuck the toes and lift straight up through plank pose, or go through all fours and back to downward facing dog. Take a big breath in when you're there, and a big breath out. Then inhale, lift your left leg back behind you. Pull your knee in. Again, lift your left leg back and pull the knee in. And step your foot forward. Pause on fingertips. Pull the feet towards each other. Keep the back leg strong. And inhale to rise up. Hands to your hips. Just to check in with the body. Squaring the hips, squaring your chest to the front of your space. So not that, not that, that. And reach your arms up in the air. This is American football field goal. Got it. Aussie rules football, it's this. Just a lot of fun. Okay, one final stretch, reach up, option to lean back slightly. Okay, then touch your hands down and smoothly step forward to the front of your space. Inhale, lengthen your spine, bend your knees, try to get a little arch in your low back. And then exhale to fold in. Place your hands to your hips and inhale, slowly rise all the way up to stand. Turn to the side, just pausing for tree pose first. Lean to your right foot. Place your left foot to your upper inner thigh. You're welcome to bend your knee a little bit and go globe hands, but low globe. Manos en globo. If it's tough to put your foot to your upper inner thigh, you could always go inner shin or inner ankle. And then a true way to test your balance is to close your eyes and see if you can hold the position. So sometimes the whole point is to get knocked down. It's not as much of an underdog story or a hero's journey if everything goes your way all the time. And it is okay to have those moments where things fall apart so that you can rise back up. Lower your foot and switch. Lean to your left. Lift your right foot to your upper inner thigh. Sometimes those things can be quite dramatic. Other times it can be that you fall out of tree pose because you closed your eyes. Having your hands low in globe just gives you the opportunity to engage the arms by pushing the fingers into each other. It also gives a break. There's a lot of yoga poses where the arms are up in the air, resulting in really tight traps. So the shoulders getting slightly bound. So having the hands lower just allows you to be freer. Okay, then lower your foot. The reason to step to the side or turn to the side is to take your feet out wide. Reach your arms out. Wide is defined as having your feet directly below your fingers when you point down like that. Now, turn your left foot in a little bit, right foot out, and bend into the front knee, actively stretching and extending out. Lift your chin and look over the right fingertips. So one thing I like about Hatha flow is it takes out doing 50 vinyasa flows, which can sometimes be tiring, especially for the arms and maybe if your wrists are a little bit sore. And instead being efficient to just switch side to side. So straighten your right leg, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, bend into your knee, and warrior two pose, second side. I almost said chair. Imagine if chair and warrior two combined for warrior chair. I don't know what that would look like, but it would probably be pretty intense. Settling in lower. Okay, and then straighten your leg. Turn your toes in, turn your right toes out again, bend into the knee, and go forearm to your thigh, and swing your left arm across your ear for side angle position. If you want to go further by touching your hand down to the floor or a block, do so, even a bind as well. With a 45-minute practice, there's only so much you can do. So this is a one shot, one opportunity pose. Everyone had a good Christmas dinner last night. Mom's spaghetti. Push with your feet, rise up, warrior two. Straighten your right leg, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, bend into the knee, and go forearm to your thigh, and swing the arm. That's how I do it. I go like that. I know people doing that, and especially if you take the arm up and over with the palm face up, that's just weird in the upper back and shoulder. So it's a bit better to go palm face down and rotate more so it's a thumbs up position. My favorite emoji, thumbs up. It is not passive aggressive if you don't mean it to be passive aggressive. Okay, and then push with your feet, rise up, warrior two, straighten your leg, turn your left toes in, turn your right toes out. This time, keep your right leg straight, tilt forward for triangle pose. I just like to use a block, it's a bit easier for me. And arm up in the air, or again, hand to hip. My favorite form of aggression is passive aggression, just because it doesn't physically hurt people. But maybe no forms of aggression is the best. Push the front leg straighter. If you can get the hand flatter to the floor, go for it. This is one where we will add to it. So bend further into the front knee. If you have a block, you can bring it with you. Push off the back foot to lift up into half moon position. Adding to it a little bit extra spice for half moon is to bend your left knee and then grab hold of your ankle or foot. I have to bring the knee in towards the chest. Hold the foot and then kick back. Twist from right to left. Lift the knee higher. Kick your foot further back. Big breath in. And then slowly release. Lower your foot down. If you are using a block, bring it with you to rise up. Turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, and triangle pose on the other side. Reach the right arm high up into the air. Actively push down with the feet. Try to split your mat in two without actually splitting it in two. and extend, lift up. Triangle predominantly is the arm up in the air, but there are versions where you could take the arm forward, or you could put fists to the top of the head, so it emphasizes a lengthening of the rib cage. And then moving into half moon on the second side, push off the back foot, lift it up into the air, right arm up into the air. Option again to bend your knee, grab hold of your ankle, and then kick your foot back from there, lifting your chin, maintaining a fairly fluid breath so it's not bound or tight. Okay, then gently release. Slowly slide back to triangle pose. Come all the way up. Turn just the left toes in this time. And a slight change, Prasarita Padottanasana. Clasp your hands behind your back, bend your knees, and then hinge forward. So wide-legged forward fold position. And then using this position to transition, touch your hands down, move your hands towards your right foot, turn it out, and then step back to plank position, top of a push-up. Holding strong here in plank. Join your feet together at the back of your space, and then drop your heels towards the right so you're balancing on your right hand and your feet face towards the left. Place your left hand to your hip. You're always welcome to make a kickstand in front of your hips with your left foot, or you could go with the right knee down version. So just variations, because we're all different and all at different levels. Even each of us individually will change our levels as we grow and shift in our practice. One more breath in, and then turn to the floor, immediately into the other side. So balancing on the left hand or elbow, reach the right arm up into the air. Hold strong. Okay, and then go hand down from plank or knees. Do that 3 count again. So lowering down halfway. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Rise. 3, 2, 1. And lower. 3, 2, 1. Lift for your back bend. And then push it back to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, a bit of a twisted dog, more bowspring style here. Lift your heels high. Drop your heels over towards the right. Tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. And then it's not side plank. Actually, keep your left hand down and push the left hand forward as you move the hips as far to the right side of your mat as possible. And then lift your heels and go the other way. Move your hips towards the left. Actively push your right hand forward. Extend, reach. Oh. Okay, and return to all fours where we essentially began the practice. In all fours, lift your left leg behind you and reach your right arm forward. Stage 1. Stage 2 this time, bend your knee. Grab hold of your foot behind you. I go with just big toe side of the foot. Kick the foot back, lift the knee higher, and twist further to the left. There is a way to make this pose more difficult. One question always to be asked is, why do you want to make things more difficult? But move your hips back. Go onto fingertips on the left hand. Option to even lift your left hand completely into tiny dancer position. So embrace the challenge. Let this be more about fun than failure. And hand down. Release your foot, lower your knee and other hand. Pause. And switch. Lift your right leg back. Extend your left arm forward. Hold. Or now bend your knee. Reach behind you with your left hand. Grab hold of the big toe side of your foot. Move your hips back. Kick your foot. Lift your knee higher. Twist from right to left. And then option to go fingertips. Option to lift your hand. Not as solid on this one. Whoa, tiny dancer. Hold me closer. Okay, and then go hand down, hand down. And then tuck your toes under, lift up for downward facing dog. Just adding another flow here. Option, of course, to go knees lifted. So lower down halfway. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Rise. 3, 2, 1. And lower. 3, 2, 1. All the way down. Point your toes. Lift for a higher back bend. So I've got my hips down for cobra pose, but you could have the thighs and pelvis lifted for up dog as well. And pause to embrace, enjoy, savor the pose. It should feel nice to be in the position. And tuck your toes, move back down dog. Then slide your right shin forward for pigeon prep position, having your front shin about at a 45-degree angle. If you can go further, you're welcome to go further. It just becomes more difficult for certain aspects if you go all the way forward. Great for the hip opening side, lesser so for other aspects. So I'm just using blocks because it allows me to be steady in the upright position. I smile because it becomes a major stretch for the front of the back leg, the psoas, hip flexor muscle of the left leg for me here. Okay, then pause, get to a point where you could actually hover the arms up, maybe lift them up, keep that level of strength in your legs, and then lower down onto your elbows. And it could be elbows to the floor, could be elbows on a block. And pausing to breathe. If you've got a bit more energy in the tank, you're welcome to stay upright and reach back to grab hold of your back foot. And then maybe arm up into the air. So modified version of one-legged royal pigeon. Used to know it as one-legged king pigeon, but trying to be a little bit more gender neutral. Focus on the things that are really more important in our life, like the royals. Okay, and then move your way back to downward facing dog position. And just a simple transition to the other side. And when you cut flows out, it just allows you to spend more time in the other poses, which I think can be worth it a lot more. I know of some vinyasa classes or power classes where you almost end up spending 30% of the time just in the flowing through a vinyasa, and you miss out to get the good stretches in like pigeon. Again, as before, option to go arms up in the air and then use the strength that's required to maintain it to lower down onto the elbows. And sometimes poses are hip openers, and sometimes if you're flexible, the hip opener is actually just an opportunity to try to strengthen in the pose. Just as before, if you wanted to stay upright, bend your right knee and grab hold of your foot, you're welcome to try that. And maybe even arm up in the air. Okay, next one's got a lot of variations. So it'll be on your forearms, doing a few shows here. If you're not sure what you want to do, just making sure I tuck my shirt in to keep things G-rated, maybe PG-rated. I like to just hold a block in forearm plank, but it could be forearm plank like that. If that's a little too much, you can go knees down. You could also step the feet in for a dolphin pose, forearm downward facing dog. If you want to explore what it would be like to go upside down, you could always have your back to the wall like this and just step one foot up, another foot up. And if you want to turn the other way, you could do that, or just throwing it out there for those of you who can do Pincha Mayurasana, where you actually hop up into forearm stand. And hold it there. I love this pose. It just feels great to me. It feels better than headstand. Handstand feels great, but handstand isn't as steady. Forearm stand, I usually just come down because I get tired. Not like a car, but like sleepy or fatigued. Knowing that some of you are still in forearm plank, keep it going, way to go. And then everyone, lower your knees down and sit back onto your heels. Just a gentle twist here after the effort. Place your right hand to the outside of your left thigh and left hand behind you. Lift the spine and twist from right to left. And then switch the other side. Right hand behind you, left hand to the outside of your right thigh. See if you can make this quick transition, but it's to go hands down in front of you and then actually hop up onto your feet with your feet turned out to sit down into a squat position. Ooh, I'm feeling this one in my right ankle. I recently went down a set of stairs at night and I thought I was on the last step, but I was on the second to last step. And when you prepare yourself thinking it's the final step and it's a lot further of a fall, it hurts. So I'm glad I wasn't more of an injury, but definitely feeling the compression in my ankle. Okay, and then this is just a smooth transition onto the butt. Lift your feet for boat pose. So another opportunity to do some core work. You're welcome to stay here in boat, or if you like the extra challenge, hover your right leg straight, keep your left knee bent, and then lower down, touch your shoulder blades, and rise back up. And do that 2 more times. You lower down and come up. And last one. And up on that side. Then there's the second side. Woohoo! Left leg straight, right knee bent, lower down, and come up. And lower down, and come up. And last one. Lower down, and come up. And lower your feet now. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Open your knees out wide for Baddha Konasana, bound angle position. And this is a pose where I actually benefit a bit more by sitting up onto a prop. So bottoms of the feet together, open the knees out wide, look forward, big breath in, and opportunity to hinge a little bit forward, hooking your elbows to the front of your shins. Okay, fairly similar setup for the legs. Just move the feet a bit forward and then slide your left foot under your right leg so you're more at the outer right hip, and step your right foot up and over Ardha Matsyendrasana. And then this one is a twist from left to right. You could just hold the knee, wrap your right knee with your left arm, or you can hook the elbow to the outside of your knee. Push your right ankle into your left thigh and vice versa. Use that to ground down through your sit bones more and lift up through the crown of your head as you twist from left to right. Okay, on an inhale, untwist. Just a little counter twist to the other side. Hi, smile. And switch sides. So it's right knee bent and on the ground, and then left leg goes up and over, and it can just be in stages. So a mellow twist, slightly deeper, even deeper, hooking the elbow. There are versions where you bind as well. Okay, then turn to center. Extend both legs forward and reach your arms up into the air and slowly hinge forward. Paschimottanasana, the west side stretch. It's a sunset position. I'm on a block. I keep the knees a little bit bent on a block just because I don't have that flexibility that many others do. And it may just not even be flexibility, but just the sheer length of the hamstrings. If you are someone with flexibility, if you happen to have a block, you could make the pose more difficult by putting a block to the bottom of your feet and then holding it that way as you round in. Just lots of ways to make things more challenging. And then same but different, just come up and then open the feet a little wider and hinge forward. So Upavista Konasana is 90 degrees to 120 degrees with your legs, so thigh bones. Samakanasana is side splits, where you open the legs out to the side. They're different poses. When I teach this pose, Upavista Konasana, there's usually about 7 or 8 people who go into side splits. Again, it's okay if you're choosing to do side splits. It's another thing if you just think that that's Upavista Konasana, so it's just another pose that works the legs differently. I just speak to that because I wish I could do side splits. I have Jean-Claude Van Damme envy. Okay, then slowly come up. Bring the legs back to center. More challenging is legs straight. I'm going to do the bent knee version of Parsvottanasana, which is sunrise pose. Hands behind you. They could be turned out, forward or back. Lift up the chest, push with the feet, and lift your hips up. You could look up, back, or forward. Up to you. Straight legs, much more difficult. Muchos dificilios. And then lower the hips down. I'm taking myself off of the block now. Okay, with the arms forward in front of you, feet down, slowly tuck your chin in and lower your way down onto your back. Ooh. Once you arrive on your back, pull your right knee in, hold the top of your shin. We actually did this standing. Stay, or hold under your thigh. Remember the idea of dropping the weight of your leg into your hands. It's harder to do. Gravity is not helping you here, so you have to actually push your thigh towards your hands and then stretch your legs straighter. You can look at your toes, spread them, curl them. Try to move each toe individually. Okay, then bend your knee. Hold your knee with your left hand and move for a gentle twist. Look over your right shoulder. Okay, then rise up and switch legs. So I actually am just doing right knee bent, foot flat for this variation of Supta Padangusthasana. Holding your knee. There's a lot of systems of yoga that call this position wind relieving pose, which you have to go with your own judgment depending on if you're practicing alone or not. And then Supta Padangusthasana prep is to hold the back of your thigh and extend your leg up. So eventually becomes holding your big toe with your peace fingers or the outside of your foot. I just need a longer arm or a shorter leg to do that. And sometimes I can. It's just a 45-minute practice isn't quite enough. Sometimes it could be literally 4 to 5 hours and do a morning practice and then an afternoon practice. Okay, then bend your knee. hold on to your knee with your right hand, move the leg over to the side, and twist from right to left. Okay, then final pose is Happy Baby, and there's lots of versions on this one. It can be as simple as just holding your knees above your hips and opening the knees out. You could then hold under your thighs and stretch your legs straighter. I actually really like this version. It's a little bit easier on the back, but you could also bring the knees in closer and then hold on to the big toes or the outside of your feet. And then just pause. You're welcome to sway a little side to side. For those of you that aren't aware of the Canadian traditions, Boxing Day is the day after Christmas. It is a holiday. It used to be what Black Friday is to the US. It's when Canadians would go spend their money on deals. And making it a bit of a mellow practice this morning just because it's, again, the day after Christmas. So going easy on yourself if you overindulged brahmacharya yesterday. And pull the knees in, curl up, bring your forehead to your knees, big breath in. And then slowly unwind yourself for a final resting position, Shavasana. If you're near a wall and you want to go legs up a wall, you could do that. If you happen to be someone who likes to finish practice in a seated position, then rise up to seated. And slow down your breath. Soften your skin. Allow your belly to relax. And notice that the toes soften. Find some gentle space in your lower and upper jaw. Relax there. And then notice that your fingers naturally curl. When the fingers are in a state of rest, they aren't spread wide and they aren't straight. And they're curled. And finding your deepest state of rest. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. And one more full breath in and full breath out. And last one. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes You're welcome to reach your arms up and over for full big stretch the last minutes of the morning here. And bend your knees, roll over to either side to slowly rise up to a tall seated position. If you did practice today with boxing gloves, you can put those on now. Boxing gloves for Boxing Day. A little bit more bowstring style with two seeds coming together. Bringing your hands together. Take a big breath in and sigh it out. Namaste. Okay, thanks for sticking around, everyone, and hope you're enjoying the snow day here in Victoria. It's very rare to have snow on the holidays. I can remember Boxing Day in '96 is when the snow started for the epic blizzard of '96. So I don't think that's forecast, but neither was the blizzard that year, 25 years ago. And yeah, if you just joined in and you're still online and you don't get emails about that, then just send me a message to and include your email, because I send the invite out via email, and that one's a little bit more timely to receive than just trying to check my status on the stories, etc. You're welcome, Sierra and Sandy and Dawn and Robin. Yeah, hope everyone had a happy Christmas, and yeah, it's still only a few days into the closure of yoga studios again. The provincial health officer spoke on Christmas Eve. We were hoping that she would undo the closures and maybe put restrictions, half capacity, or wear masks, or no heat at the studio, but unfortunately they're remaining till January 18th at the earliest. And the big fear, of course, is that this could be what we're doing for 2, 3, 4 more months again. So yeah, thanks for your joining. Yeah, you're welcome, Kirsten, and hi, April and Alice. You're welcome, Yvonne. Oh, nice work, Des and Xavier. And warrior chair. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what warrior chair is. Aaron. Oh, you're welcome, Ruby. Yeah, glad you were able to join in. Yeah, again, if you want the email invites, I have a feeling I'm going to be doing this pretty often, just because what more is there to do in the winter time when everything is shut down, except maybe we can all get together and join 10,000 other people at a Canucks game. Oh, you're welcome, Eva. Come in. Okay, we'll see you soon, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.